hand-drawn holiday doodles, a vintage color palette, and my favorite acrylic markers from Arrtx. All of that's coming up in today's beginner-friendly tutorial. Hey friends, welcome back. My name is Shayda Campbell, and today we're going to work on some holiday doodles together. I have my little sketchbook here from Arrtx. It has hot press paper, which is great for mixed media, and you can see I've been doing a lot of mixed media lately, from the Winter Wonderland to this very cute self-portrait. That's available on Patreon if you're interested. We are just going to open up our sketchbook here, and we are going to do an entire 2-page spread with these acrylic markers. And if you haven't seen these markers yet, let me show you. So I've chosen a little color palette for today, a very vintagey color palette with lots of reds, blues, pinks, and greens. And I love these markers because they have a creamy consistency, they are highly opaque, and they are a paint marker that you do not have to shake. Here's what the set looks like. There's 90 markers. A set of 90 makes it very easy to choose your color palette. And this set in particular, I really love because of its more muted colors. You guys know I love a muted color palette. If I can get my hands on those colors in markers, that's something really special to me. Although with these markers, you actually are able to blend the colors while wet. Let me show you what I mean. We'll just jump in and start drawing with these markers. I'm going to do a simple Christmas tree, draw the stem, and then these 3 upside down V shapes, and then you are just going to fill them in with lots of little lines. And you can see how first you've created a simple guide, and now you've illustrated a whole simple little pine tree and kind of just work out the shape. Now for this entire piece, I want to go in a classic, vintage, almost 1950s Christmas kind of color palette. And you'll see what I mean, but for now I'm going to grab blue, pink, and red, and we are going to decorate our tree. So I'm using light blue to do a star on top, and then lots of little baubles or lights or whatever they are, and we're also going to use red and pink. So just kind of put those at random. Do not overthink this part. And you can see how wonderfully opaque these markers are. We've got this super dark evergreen color, and then we're just layering pink and light blue and red on top, and it's like the easiest thing in the world. I'm going over the pink twice, but even from the first layer, it looks amazing. Now, next up, I want to do a little hot drink, like a cappuccino. So start by doing an oval in brown. Then you're going to take any other color. I'm using a light icy blue, and we are going to draw the shape of a mug that goes up around the oval, and you'll put a little handle there as well. For my color palette today, as I said, I'm working with vintagey sort of colors, and I have chosen about 15 markers. The nice thing about a set of 90 markers is you can pull out a dozen or 20 and say that's the color palette for this particular piece, and choosing a color palette for your piece will give your doodles a really cohesive look and feel. And so I'm using a darker blue now to do a little bit of shading and then a bit of pattern. So I'm doing a star pattern. You could use polka dots or stripes, and then we'll take the white marker and we are going to do a little cappuccino pattern there. And again, how wonderfully creamy and opaque are these markers. You can use white right over top of brown. Now, moving right along, we're going to do a little candle holder. Start with the oval for the base and give it a little handle, and then just draw that little kind of square there. That's where the candle will actually sit. And then I'm using a super light gray to just do like a cylinder shape, and of course a little flame, and you can put the wick in there as well. Everything today is very simple and cutesy. I'm almost making them a little messy. Instead of drawing things in pencil first, I'm just going right in with the marker, and if things are a little weird, wonky, whimsical, that's okay. I'm going with it. I want things to look hand-drawn, but if you want to, there's certainly nothing wrong with going and doing the illustration in pencil first. Little pink candy cane. Pink is a great layering color, like a base color for doing your candy cane, and then just put some red or maybe red and green stripes. And then we're going to draw a little mistletoe together. And I'm starting by using that super light gray to draw a cluster of circles. And then we're going to come in with this beautiful mossy green, and we'll give a stem at the top. And then we'll just draw a whole bunch of long, rounded leaves. So very long, thin leaves that have a rounded end. And then we're going to make sure that we add a bunch of green in behind the berries. So if we want white berries like mistletoe to pop off of the white page, the main thing is that we just put a whole lot of green in behind them. And you can see me doing that here and still working out the shapes of the leaves. Again, you could do this in pencil, but I want that slightly off-kilter hand illustrated look. And then we're going to do 2 ovals in pink and put a little ribbon beneath each, and that makes a bow. We can grab that darker green if you want and just do a little line on some of those leaves to give the leaves a bit more detail. Use a medium pink to give that bow a little extra definition, and then come in with that gray again and just do a little bit of shading on those berries and maybe put a dot that really brings them to life. Okay, let's grab that icy blue, the same one we used for the Christmas tree, and we're just going to do an ornament, and mine is a little bit oval shaped because that's what fit up here in this space. Then I'm using my darkest blue, which is kind of a periwinkle, to outline it slightly. And then I want to use a nice buttery yellow, the same one I used for the candle flame, to do that detail in the middle. So we're kind of going for that vintage ornament look. And then I decided to layer in a bit of a gold color so that you can really see the design. And then I realized I did a little too much of the dark blue, so I was able to just go over it with the lighter blue. And voila, she's all done. Messy vintage ornament. Let's doodle a holly branch together. I like to start sometimes with the brown part, so just do a stem with pairs of little branches and then come and put a nice bright red berry at the end of each branch. And then from there, we're going to use that mossy green and kind of work out the shape of the leaf, which is basically these stacked triangles that end in a bit of a point. And I'm just filling in and deciding, do I like the shape, and kind of changing the shape at the end a bit there. Okay, next up might be my favorite doodle, and that is Santa Claus. So we start with a big U shape. And then you're going to do kind of just the top of his mustache with that same light gray. And then we fill in his face. You can use any color for the skin. We're going to do the brim of the hat there, again with the same light gray. And then finally, grab a burgundy or pink or red, and you'll come and do a rounded triangle for the hat. Use that same light gray for a pom-pom shape, and then grab a pink and give him 2 big rosy cheeks. I think that just looks so cute. We'll do a bit of definition maybe on the beard. You can do any squiggly shapes, but don't forget to draw in the bottom of his mustache. And then I took my bright red and gave the hat a little bit of pattern. From there, I took a darker gray, sort of a medium gray, L shape for the nose, 2 little eyes, big lashes. And I kind of redefined some of the hat details. Not sure that was the most successful. Did put some dots on the holly berries, and that just brings them to life. And then up here, all that talk about not using a pencil and wanting wonky hand-drawn illustrations. Well, forget that, because I wanted to draw a snow globe, and I was like, I definitely need to draw this one in pencil first. So I just drew a circle with a little messy base at the bottom, and then I wanted to draw the snowman inside so that I would know where he was going to sit, because then you're going to fill in the circle with that nice light pink, outline it with the medium pink. I did the base a beautiful bright cherry red. And then here's where it really starts to come to life. You're going to use the icy blue and just put a few splotches and lines. That will create shading on the snow and really make it look like snow. I used black for his top hat and buttons. And then I was able to use white to do the snow on the pink sky. So it looks really pretty. And this is the type of thing that's hard to do if your markers are not opaque. So I just love how graphic everything is, and it's so easy to be successful with these markers. One thing to note is that I used brown for the carrot nose, and that's because when you're sticking to a decided color palette, you can't just grab an orange. Orange is not part of my Christmas color palette, so brown is kind of close. Okay, and then we're just going to do some simple presents. So you can do rectangles or squares and just give them a little lip at the top. You can mark out where a ribbon will sit. Although these markers are opaque enough, you don't have to leave that negative space. You could just go over with the red or light blue, as I am not doing here. It's okay to still plan out your illustration. It's just nice that you don't have to. So there we've got some cute little presents. And then I think up here I'll just add like a fun little garland. So for a garland, you could do any shape. Just draw the curving line and then do little lines coming off of that. And then you could have little baubles. And in this case, I'm just drawing stars. So really simple, but effective. And I think it looks so nice as part of the overall sketchbook page. I did a little bit of shading. I used that burgundy that I used on Santa's hat to shade the base of the snow globe and the candle holder. And then I'm going to do some rose hips, those red berries that you'll see on the trails in winter, just doing ovals, stems to join them, couple leaves clustered together. And then I thought, let's do some little candies. So same formula that we used for the candy cane, where we're using pink as the base color, because how do you draw like a candy that might be white? I mean, you could use gray, but I just think the pink looks so cute. And then we'll do the design with red, a little bit of shading with that darker pink. And yeah, everything's coming together and looking so cute. One thing I want to do is a cute little snowflake. So for the snowflake, I start with a line and I do an X through it. And then every line gets 2 V shapes. And that's just a simple way to create a nice symmetrical snowflake. I keep wanting to say snow globe. We do have a cute snow globe. Okay, we're almost done, my friends. At this point, I stop thinking about what individual items I would like to draw, and I start looking at the piece as an overall composition. So what colors could I use where? Maybe over here I want a little more green, so a pine sprig or leaf would be a great addition here. And I just fill in according to kind of color and size, and where do I have a little bit of negative space, that kind of thing. Obviously staying within my chosen color palette. I'm going to write a nice holiday message right in the middle here. You could just put holiday doodles. I'm going to put Merry Merry and just make it all very festive and sweet. Since I'm doing the message in black, you could add a little bit of a black outline to some of the doodles if you like. You know me, I just like giving that real definition to some of them. I'm trying to ease off of that a little bit. That's a very Shayda thing to do. Anyway, friends, don't forget this is available as a coloring page. Head over to Patreon. It's just $3 a month to support the channel, get weekly bonus content. And right now there is a major sale. We're still running the Black Friday sale for Patreon. So check that out. Sign up soon because that sale is almost finished. And if you want to treat yourself or someone you love to my favorite Arrtx products, this great hot press paper notebook, or these acrylic markers with their wonderful color selection and opacity, the links are in the description. Check it out on Amazon right now. Thanks for watching, friends. I'll see you soon with a new tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe.